Ollie, hard fought, a disaster of a start really for Galway, but I suppose the big thing, showing character to come back and a 6-point victory in the end for Henry Shefflin's side.
Yeah, I think Galway and Henry Shefflin, they got the result. It was very nervy, I felt, early in the game. It was typical first round championship. It's very cold, damp day here in Salthill, so we have to maybe take that into account as well from a player's point of view. But Galway would have to be happy. Yeah, hit with 2 goals in the 2nd minute and 3rd minute. But from Galway's point of view, I suppose Wexford didn't really capitalise. I think it took them 6 or 7 minutes to get the next point. So from that point of view, I think Galway held their own in the first half, and they powered on the first maybe 10 or 12 minutes of that second half. I think they hit Wexford for 6 or 7 points, and that was probably what separated them in the end.
We weren't really sure. The league is the way it is at the moment. A lot of shadow boxing. I think looking at the bigger picture was the word both managers were talking. Weren't really sure what sort of game to have. But my God, it was a blistering start. TJ comes over with the points from the throw-in pretty much, and then Wexford 2 goals and 2 attacks. That has to rattle any team.
Yeah, it must have rattled Galway. In fairness, Wexford were playing with a 2-man inside full forward line, and there was 2 kind of long balls that were delivered into the Wexford forward line, and maybe Wexford looking back will think they should have done that more often. I think the inside forwards, maybe on both teams, were kind of starved of possession. There was a lot of interplay around the half back lines, around the midfield, lots of short passing, and maybe a direct route would have bore fruit for both teams in that game. Galway didn't really have many chances of goals either on the other end. But great start for Wexford, but unfortunately for them, they didn't really push on with the slight breeze in the first half as well. Galway just held their own, I think, after that. But a big shock, I'd say, to Galway at the start of that game. Yeah.
Galway, though, to their credit, they showed character and they just kept tipping away at the points there as well, and just kept that scoreboard going over.
Yeah, that's what they did. I mean, they had a range of scores throughout the field. Evan Nyland had a great game today, scored from play, loads of points from play and from frees, and they'll have to be happy. He'll have to be happy with his game. But I think coming down to Salthill, it can be a difficult pitch. It's always kind of windy enough down here. It can be cold, and Galway are well used to down playing games here in Pearse Stadium. So Lee Chin, I suppose, was a big loss for Wexford. He really is the driver, in that forward line for Wexford. And without getting quick ball, I felt, into the likes of Conor McDonald on the edge of the square, I think Wexford were limited enough today and really missed Lee Chin.
Galway then as well, they got that score with Cooney just on the stroke of half time. It gave the crowd here a bit of a buzz and almost a mini momentum changer as well, just getting level just before half time.
It was important, I think, from about the 20 minutes. There was a 5 or 6 minute spell where Wexford pushed out the lead to maybe 3 or 4 points, and I think from Galway's point of view, it was vital that they kind of came back strong in the last 4 or 5 minutes of that first half, and to go in level. I think they would have been happy with that after conceding the 2 really early goals. So from Galway's point of view, to go in level, having the slight breeze, I mean, it was kind of crossfield into the corner here. I think having that breeze in the second half, I felt that that is an advantage to your free takers, puck out strategy, etc. when you have that little bit of a breeze at your back. So I think Galway went in happy enough at half time. They came out, as I said, in the first maybe 10 or 12 minutes. I think they hit 6 in a row, and that was really the difference, and that's what got them to go on and win the game.
Wexford, you could see they were probably set up a little more defensive. You had the sweeper in place and just left the boys up top. Galway seemed to push on a little bit more in that number, because there's whiles there in the first half. Conor Whelan was, for example, maybe surrounded by 2 or 3 to 1 in there. It was definitely a lot more white Galway shirts pushed up in the second half.
Yeah, and you have to get in and support the inside forward line, because it's very difficult when you're in there with a sweeper. It makes the job very, very easy. Well, not very easy, but it makes the job easy for a back man if he knows he's got cover. So sometimes if you're a defender, you'll just go out and you'll just clear him out and just play the ball behind you, or else you just knock it down and the sweeper will pick that ball up and clear it. So from a back's point of view, it does make it easier. But once you get more bodies in there in the forward line, it really gives the other forwards, good support. And even if the ball breaks, Galway were pushing on there in that second half. Even though they did play with the sweeper, Pádraig Mangan picked up a lot of ball back there, as did the Wexford. There was different sweepers, I think, for Wexford at times. But, they did pick up a lot of ball. But when you play with a sweeper like that, unfortunately, you're going to be down a man less in the forwards, and from that point of view, it can make it difficult. Conor Whelan is a good target man for Galway. Picked up a couple of knocks there, and it just goes to show you how important he is as well. Bit like Lee Chin, big loss for Wexford. If Conor Whelan, if he doesn't stay fit for Galway this year, He's a real target man now at this stage.
And a real man, you're talking about key players. Evan Island really led the charge there on the scoring front. He was just in red hot form today.
Yeah, as I said, not an easy day. It's a windy, damp kind of a day here in Galway. But he was excellent today. Got some brilliant scores from playing that first half, and Galway needed him, and followed up that first half performance with an excellent second half performance. Scores from play and from frees, and just did simple things. You know, when he got his chance, he just opened the shoulders, knocked them over the bar. Really good today.
To turn that around, Galway, pleased with the second half, with the elements at the back, whatever, but they did the job they done, 6-point victory. How happy do you think Henry Shefflin will be? Obviously delighted with the win, but what's to look forward now? Obviously Kilkenny is a big challenge to come also.
I just think it was a typical kind of a first round championship game in a cold, damp Salthill. I think both teams will go back to the dressing room and have a look back on the performance. I felt some of the first touch, some of the ball control was poor. I said some of the deliveries were, there was balls being hit out over the sideline on a couple of occasions there. They won't be happy with that. Galway, after conceding the first 2 goals, didn't really show to concede any more after that. So they tightened up at the back, considerably as the game went on. Up front for Galway, didn't really create many goal chances. That might be a concern, even though they hit enough of points to win the game. Wexford, on the other hand, they'll have to be concerned. They need to get Lee Chin, I think, back fit in that team. And they'll be disappointed that after the great start they got, I just don't think they capitalised on it. They needed more scores on the board, and for them to go in level at half time after scoring them 2 early goals, they will be disappointed with that. So lots to work on, I think, for both teams, but for me, kind of a typical first round championship match.
Yeah, obviously it's no need to state the obvious. Galway will have to be a hell of a lot better against Kilkenny, but it's probably a game got that out of the belt and they can push on and maybe get that little bit of dirty diesel out of the way perhaps.
Yeah, look, at all the teams are preparing for championship, and it's very difficult to read into the league performances. The league is the preparation, we'll say, to maybe test out a few new players, but the whole build up is towards the championship. Now the championship is up and running, and the management teams can really analyse to see what worked well, what didn't work so well, and how we're going to implement our game plan going forward. So you're going to see teams, getting going in the championship. It's a progression. You need to improve as the season goes on. There's no point in blowing it out of the park here today and then plateauing at that. It's a progression as the championship goes on, and I think Galway and Wexford, both teams will look to put in better performances than they did here today.
Focus on Galway. You started the maroon jersey for so long. They'll probably be happy, in that weird way of lots to improve on, as you touched on, but still got the important point, because as we know from previous, this round robin can be a juggernaut if you get off to a bad start. Yeah,
and they clocked up a good score there. I think the one by, I think it's 6 in the end. I mean, that's important as well, because scoring difference can come into play. I know it came into play a couple of seasons back and Galway didn't actually make it through, make it out of the round robin series. So, they will have to be, happy to get a good win here. The home games are so important as well in the round robin series. It's really, you have to be getting a win on your home turf, because when you travel away, it's difficult. I mean, Wexford, they had a nice journey to come up here to Galway as well, so that might have helped their performance today either. But from Galway's point of view, home game and a home win, they'll go away happy this evening, but lots to work on. Yeah,
we better let you get out of the cold. It is Baltic in here. Thanks, Ollie. Thanks very much. No doubt we'll talk to you over the course of the championship.
No problem, lads.